Today, we will discuss a fascinating and chilling topic, the fantastic monsters of Antarctica. For most people, the only native inhabitants of this mysterious, icy continent are the cute and harmless penguins. But today, we are not talking about them. Instead, we will focus on other, far less known but significantly more dangerous creatures that call the frozen wastelands their home, beings that polar explorers prefer not to speak about, yet secretly fear. These are the ones who have inhabited Antarctica long before the continent was buried under miles of ice, and they will do anything to protect their territory from human intrusion. These are the monsters of Antarctica. The first recorded encounters with these enigmatic beings were reported by Soviet polar explorers. This is not surprising, considering that the USSR was at the forefront of Antarctic research, pushing deeper into the frozen wilderness than any other nation. And, as expected, our explorers were the first to pay a bloody price for uncovering the continent's secrets. The first known encounter with the mysterious Antarctic monsters occurred in the late 1950s, during a Soviet expedition into the heart of the icy wasteland. The Soviet Union was actively exploring the new continent, and on February 13, 1956, the first Antarctic research station, Mirny, was established. Scientific work was in full swing. One of the primary missions of the researchers was geological surveying and deep ice core drilling to collect samples from beneath the 3-kilometer-thick ice sheet, which could provide crucial insights into Antarctica's hidden past. In January 1958, a small team of 6 explorers set out westward to investigate Wilkes Land. They were expected to operate autonomously for a month. However, just a week after departing, a massive blizzard struck, cutting them off from communication. The storm was so severe that visibility dropped to near zero, and even a person standing just a few feet from shelter risked freezing to death. But the storm itself was not the worst part. 3 days into the storm, the expedition stopped responding to radio calls. The last message received was garbled, but 3 chilling words were clear enough to make out: horror. All dead. The message was signed by the expedition's radio operator. What exactly had happened? No one knew. As soon as the storm subsided, a rescue mission was launched. A reconnaissance aircraft was sent out to locate the missing team. Hours passed as the pilots scanned the vast, featureless landscape. Then, at the edge of visibility, they spotted something dark against the pure white snow. As they approached, a horrifying sight was revealed. A scorched transport vehicle lay in the middle of a crater of melted snow. Nearby, a pile of blackened debris, twisted metal and charred wooden remains, marked what was left of their mobile shelter. Around the wreckage, 4 lifeless bodies were sprawled across the snow, frozen in unnatural, contorted positions. Only 2 men had survived, emerging from the wrecked vehicle as the plane circled above, waving desperately at the rescuers. When the survivors were brought back to Mirny, their accounts were deemed too terrifying to share with the rest of the crew. Officially, the incident was attributed to an electrical fire that ignited a fuel spill. But the truth, classified for decades, was far more sinister. According to the survivors, everything had been proceeding as planned until the 4th day of the expedition. It was a rare clear day, perfect conditions for drilling operations. The team set up their equipment and began boring into the ancient ice. Everything was going smoothly until one of the men noticed something strange. A glowing orb had appeared above one of the previously drilled holes. The sphere, shimmering with an eerie light, hovered silently. It resembled a ball of lightning, yet no known phenomenon could explain its sudden emergence in the middle of the Antarctic tundra. As one of the explorers moved closer to photograph the object, the orb darted toward him, grazing his body. In an instant, his oil-soaked clothing burst into flames. He became a human torch, screaming in agony. The sphere then shot toward the others, moving with an uncanny intelligence, igniting anything it touched. Within seconds, 4 men were reduced to smoldering corpses. The orb then plowed through the mobile shelter as if it were made of paper, setting it ablaze before vanishing into the sky. Miraculously, the 2 survivors had been far enough away to escape immediate contact. They managed to detach the burning shelter from their transport and extinguish the flames before their vehicle was lost. Shaken and terrified, they spent days in the freezing cold, avoiding their fallen comrades' remains and waiting for a chance to radio for help. The official investigation, conducted under the strict oversight of the KGB, concluded that the deaths were caused by an overwhelming natural force. In other words, no one had any explanation for what had happened. But this was not the only encounter with these deadly fire orbs. Several years later, in the same region, an American research team of 17 people vanished without a trace. After this, Wilkes Land became an unspoken no-go zone. Officially, no restrictions were placed on the area, yet expeditions quietly avoided it. The last known sighting of these killer spheres occurred in 1991, when a French researcher, Jacques Ballons, attempted to photograph one. His charred remains were discovered 3 days later, his camera containing only an image of a bright yellow glow. These deadly entities, later named plasma zavra, are believed by some to be a highly unusual and aggressive form of plasma-based life. Some researchers even suspect that similar entities might have been responsible for the infamous Dyatlov Pass incident, but plasma zavra is not the only nightmare lurking beneath the Antarctic ice. There are creatures even more terrifying. Among them are the Gurvitz beasts, named after the polar explorer Isaac Gurvitz, who had a chilling encounter in the summer of 1960. While investigating a deep crevasse, Gurvitz discovered enormous rat-like footprints leading into the abyss. When 2 of his fellow researchers vanished without a trace, a search party found only shredded clothing and a frozen pool of blood. Later, Gurvitz himself came face to face with a monstrous, bat-like creature, which he managed to fend off with his firearm. Analysis of the remains it left behind suggested the existence of an unknown, ammonia-based life form capable of surviving extreme sub-zero temperatures. To this day, scientists debate what other horrors might be lurking beneath Antarctica's frozen shell. Perhaps the continent's icy surface is not merely the result of natural climate shifts, but a barrier, a prison meant to keep something buried away from the world. What do you think? Could there be more mysteries hidden beneath Antarctica's ice? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.